All right. Welcome to Satellite Digital Media, or I should say, Niners Radio 49 exclusive special. Here we go. Glad we're live here on Niners Radio 49 exclusive. The 2025 NFL Draft. Professor B here. We got this on audio right now, running a little bit behind the scenes. We're going to hear the interview. Cam Ward just been selected number one by the Tennessee Titans, the first overall pick from the Miami Hurricanes, and we're going to get into his stats in a few minutes. We will go on live. We're going audio just a little bit late. We just had some technical problems, so we apologize for the inconvenience. A lot of you joining us on Niners Radio 49. You can glad you guys are tuning in on Niners Radio 49. Cam Ward selected number one, and then we just got some developing news. The Jacksonville Jaguars have now traded up with the Browns for the number 2 overall pick. So we're just coming. Just a lot of you guys are coming in, watching us live on Niners Radio 49. So glad you guys joining us in, coming in for the draft. So Jacksonville will bump up to Cleveland's pick, and we will. So the Jaguars receive 2025 second overall pick. They'll get a fourth round pick and a sixth round pick. Cleveland will get their pick, 2025 fifth pick overall, 2025 second and fourth round picks, and they will get the Jaguars first round pick next year. So in case you're just tuning in, the Jaguars and Browns have consummated a trade. Jaguars move up to the number 2 pick. They'll get a second overall pick for this year with Cleveland's pick, fourth round for this year, and sixth pick overall. And the Browns will get the Jaguars next year's pick as well. So we are going to we'll be keeping you live on the update on the draft. All the audio, video footage courtesy from our friends at NFL Network and on ESPN, and you watching it on ABC as well. They'll be giving you clips, what's going on. Hope you guys are tuning in on this special Niners Radio 49 special. So we are going to take this time out, and we will be right back in just a few moments. So Professor B here at the Satellite Digital Media Studios here in San Francisco, Niners Radio 49 special, the 2025 NFL Draft, will continue right after this. Or no, we will not. We're going to go right now as looking on our board as the Jaguars is Travis Hunter, who was last year's 2024 Heisman Trophy winner. We're going to see what's going to happen next as Roger Goodell is going to have the next and we'll hear from what's going to happen next. And then on our monitor NFL Network, that's Eric Armstead. And there's Jaguar fans seeing on our monitor. And Eric Armstead, the 2024 last year's Walter Payton, the former 49er. So the pick is in. We're going to hear it. Testing. Trades going in. It's the Browns trading. Travis Hunter. So Travis Hunter, wide receiver and defensive back, the 2024 Heisman Trophy winner from the University of Colorado. First five-star state ever to play. Won the Freddie Biletnikoff Award winner. Second overall pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars. They traded their pick with the Cleveland Browns. Could be the second coming of Deion Sanders. Of course, he played with D. Coach Sanders Prime down at the University of Colorado with his teammate. So, Travis Hunter being selected number 2. That was originally Cleveland's pick. They swapped picks for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 96 receptions, 1,258 yards, 15 touchdowns in 2024. That all top 5 in the FBS. 4 interceptions, 11 pass breakups in 24. Both led the club. So the Jaguars get their man, Travis Hunter, the 2024 Heisman Trophy Award winner, playing for Coach Prime for the University of Colorado. You can see some of our footage at the draft party in looking at some of the film, some of the tapes. Look at Hunter as we look at our monitor on both on our ABC monitor. San Francisco will pick number 11. We'll see who they're going to get in the draft. So, draft night here. You guys tuning in on Niners Radio 49. You like to check us out, go to youtube.com/at Niners Radio 49. So his numbers: snap count 711 offensively, 747 defensively, 23 special teams. So we're gonna be we'll be here for a bit. We will. I'm gonna step out for a little bit. We continue on the 2025 NFL Draft. We'll get you in the full video in a few moments. Professor B for Niners Radio 49 special exclusive of the 2025 NFL Draft from Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. At Lambeau Field. But we're here back here in the home base here in the city of the Bay, home of your five-time Super Bowl champion, San Francisco 49ers, on Niners Radio 49. Or New York Giants are now selecting. So Abdul Carter, 6'3", 250 pounds from Penn State. Here, Mel Kiper Jr., ESPN analyst Anthony Booger McFarland, a former Super Bowl champion, talking about this. Patriots picking number 4, a tackle, Will Campbell from SEC from LSU, 6'5", weighing 319 pounds from L. Started all 12 games at left tackle in 2024. Patriots continue their rebuilding season. They have finished under 500 in now at least 4 of the last 5 years. So he started 12, all 13 in left tackle in 23. As we're here we go. So hold on. Cleveland did some free agents, signed the veteran former Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco. Myles Garrett signed a 4-year contract, $160 million. Myles Garrett, 14 sacks in 24. That's second most in all of football. As so far the first 4 picks, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Carter for going to the Giants, and Campbell going to the New England Patriots. 494.6 rush yards at 25.6 allowed, was tied for 27th in the NFL. So this is something what the Browns have gotten in the free agency. Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Cornelius Lucas, Travis Jenkins, Malik Collins. Their losses, Jameis Winston, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Dalvin Tomlinson, Mike Ford, and Juan Thornhill. 66 sacks allowed was most. They finished 3-14. They finished dead last. Offensively ranked dead last in all of football. Overall, the Browns have not won a division title since 1989. The Browns have made the playoffs in 2 of the last 5 years under Kevin Stefanski. Prior to that, they have missed the playoffs in 17 straight seasons. They restructured Deshaun Watson's contract, clearing $35.8 million of the salary cap. So you know Watson will be competing for a starting job. Cleveland Browns as a franchise have made the postseason 2 of the last 5 years, but since they're yet to win an NFC or AFC to win a division title outright since returning to the NFL in 1999. In fact, the Cleveland Browns have made the playoffs only 3 different times. They have not won a division title since 1989, since the days of the Bernie Kosar era. Bernie Kosar, Kevin Mack, Ernest Biner. I don't know if Brian may have gone to Washington to the Redskins by then. Since the Bernie Kosar era in 1989, they were coached by the late Bud Carson. Browns have only made the playoffs only 3 different times since returning to the NFL back in 99. Only 3 playoff appearances since 1994. Here's Roger Goodell and the Browns draft. So the Browns select Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan, a 6'3". He was a first team APL American in 2024. Leverage. Some of the numbers for Mason Graham in 2024. All the audio footage, extra additional footage, courtesy of ESPN on ABC. So they're picking up everything live on this draft. A lot of you watching us on Niners Radio 49. We're right now are just starting a little bit late because of our technical issues. We're going to get the video in a few moments' time. Just getting our setting up perfectly clear. So here we go. Here are our studios here in San Francisco. Professor B, glad you guys are joining us right here on two-time first-team All-Big Ten team. PPF Pro Football 92.6 run defense. Looking at some of the stuff right here. Here we go. So glad you guys joining us in. Glad you guys are on here on Niners Radio 49. We are so now the Raiders are going to be picking sixth on deck. Looking at some of their draft needs, they will have 7 picks. They've hired Chip Kelly as their offensive coordinator. Pete Carroll, the Marin native, North Bay native. They acquired Geno Smith from the Seahawks in exchange for a 2025 third-round pick. Some of their losses: Gardner Minshew, Alexander Mattison, Terrence Marshall. Geno Smith passed for 4,320 passing yards with the Seahawks in 24. 79.8 yards per game. It was the fewest in all in the NFL. Tight end Brock Bowers, 112 receptions, 24 for the NFL. Or Max Crosby signing a 3-year deal worth $166.5 million. 13 takeaways was in 24 was 29th in the NFL. Looking at our monitor, the Raider Nation representing very well. And we're going to go in and see what the
Your comp was LT.
Yeah, he's my favorite running back I've seen since Saquon Barkley. Let me tell you what I love about Ashton Jeanty. He's a bell cow back, right? You need it. You want to give it to him a ton, you can give it to him a ton. He can create in 3 ways. The great Kirby Wilson, running back coach, once told me, you want guys that can create with speed, with elusiveness, with power. He can do all those 3 things. Reminiscent of our guy Maurice Jones-Drew, who had speed. He's got that low, he's built low to the ground with a broad base. But when you watch Ashton Jeanty, what stands out is he's very tough to get solid contact on. And even when you do, the feet never stop.
All right, so the Jets are on the clock next. Raiders getting their guy from. Looking at the New York Jets, currently are going to be on the next online to pick. With the 7th pick, they hired Aaron Glenn as the head coach January, Lions defensive coordinator for 4 seasons. They also hired Darren Maugi as general manager in January, Broncos assistant GM. They ended up releasing Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams this offseason. Look at some of the additions. They signed Justin Fields to a 2-year deal worth $40 million in contract in March. Jets have not, Jets have missed the playoffs this past year, 14th consecutive year. That's the longest active streak in the NFL. This is after they've advanced to the AFC Championship game twice and lost both times. They end up losing to the Colts in 2009, January 2010, and then the 2010 AFC Championship they lost to the Steelers in January 11th, some 14 years ago. So a lot, and then the average since then, they have not. So we'll take this break time out. Professor B here at the Satellite Digital Media Studios here in San Francisco. You're watching the 2025 NFL Draft. Where the Niners going to draft, who they're going to pick up in the draft. They got 11 picks. And Professor B for Niners Radio 49. All right, we continue on the 2025 NFL Draft here. Looking at the Jets situation, they're in their draft room right now. As today, Jets getting ready to pick on deck next. Looking at so far in their off season. And here is Commissioner Godell with the Jets pick.
I see what he is now and what he's going to be. He's got really good stick and sustain as a run blocker. He's got strong hands. He's got the ability to get out in space and spring runs because he can get to the second level and make blocks. He did a lot of outside zone blocking, which requires a lot of movement. And you see right there, he just reached the edge and made it easy, softened the edge for his running back. But what I like about him is I think he's plenty strong. He's 330 pounds. I think he's a powerful guy. I don't think he'll have any problems fitting into a gap scheme as well. So he can zone it up. He's got gap scheme. He's got a little nastiness to him. And in pass protection, you know, he is going to get outreached some. He's only a 33.5-inch arm guy. You see it on tape. He gets outreached, but he's crafty with his hands. He uses varied pass sets. So he's already
All right, we're going to take this quick timeout. We'll have a little bit of a timeout. We'll continue on this. You're watching live Niners Radio 49 special, the 2025 NFL Draft, here at the Satellite Digital Media Studios here in San Francisco on Niners Radio 49.
I talked to a very good friend of mine around that Panthers organization this morning. I said, hey, man, like, which way are we going? He's like, oh, it could go in a couple different directions here. And at the very end of the conversation, he goes, you know, kind of talking about that wide receiver room. Maybe there's a fit here. And I immediately
They
perked
pick up
the range
Terry
for
McMillan, a first-team
all
AP
over.
All-American
All over. And this was, to me, the hardest.
receiver of University of Arizona.
Me, the hardest team to project, because it's not a clean defensive end field and fit over with
Right, so looking at the draft of Terry McMillan, he is 6'4", 219 pounds, 440-yard dash, 85th overall. Played at the university. He was a first-team AP All-Consensus All-American at the University of Arizona. Arizona Wildcats making their inaugural season as a member of the Big 12 conferences. So coming up on next, it will be the New Orleans Saints, then the Chicago Bears, and then your San Francisco 49ers. The Saints will have 7 picks in the round. And while we're looking at that, the next team on deck will be the New Orleans Saints. So the 49ers, with all the compensatory picks being awarded for this new league year, the Niners, this is written by Lindsey Parlelis from 49ers.com. So the Niners, they finalized their trade with the Minnesota Vikings, seeing Jordan Mason, a 6th-round pick, 187 overall, to the exchange for a 2025 5th-round pick, and then 2026 round pick. Niners remains with their 11 picks, but improved the draft by positioning 27 spots effectively, picking up the 2nd, 5th-round pick. This edition of the 49ers present Niners Radio 49 named the head coach in February, won the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. Derek Carr dealing 25. Career low 15 pass touchdowns in Tanner and Spencer Rattler. Running back Alvin Kamara led the Saints 1,493 yard scrimmage. Only player Louis Overlay led the Saints in wide receiver 400 receptions. Their rushing per yards per game ranked next to last in the NFL. 779 total yards allowed was 30th in the NFL. So the Saints coming off a 5-12 season, dead last in the NFC South. Here comes. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, and I tell you what my favorite game of his was his freshman season when he went up against Will Anderson and shut Will Anderson down. And I was at that game in Austin, and it was really, really impressive. Now, what I'd like to see is him get better and better and better. I think he's kind of stagnated a little bit as a pass protector, but he's gotten substantially better.
Saints picking up Kelvin Banks Jr.
He can really get into blocks with some force. He strains through contact as a run blocker.
Tackle from the University of Texas.
They were one of our finalists in the Joe Moore Awards for the best offensive line in college football. And one of the reasons is because this guy, Kelvin Banks, did.
All right, so the Saints getting their guy Kelvin Banks from the tackle from the University of Texas on the board. Now coming up on deck, the next team to draft will be the Chicago Bears, and followed by your San Francisco 49ers. Kelvin Banks Jr., overall 82, athleticism 78. Started all 42 career games, played all at left tackle for the University of Texas. 2024 first team AP All-American. He was the 2024 Outland Trophy winner, given by the nation's best offensive lineman and defensive lineman. First team All-Conference in 23, Big 12 2024 in the SEC. He started all 15 games at left tackle in 2024. He only allowed 4 sacks allowed in 1,477 pass block snaps in his career. So another draft coming as we continue live. So here we go.
Those late season divisional dates that end up deciding playoff spots. And who's playing at Lambeau in December? Ooh, we're gonna have to find out. You'll find out soon, okay? How about these rookies, the players who are drafted here tonight? When and where do they make their NFL debuts? We're gonna find that out as well. Let's not forget the expanding lineup of international games as well as Christmas, Thanksgiving Day. There's so many captivating matchups. It's the best.
Yes, because nothing says holiday cheer like watching your team destroy another. So, without further ado, everybody get it together, mark your calendars, set your alarms. The schedule will be dropped on May 14th. There we go. Lock it in.
We can't wait. You can tweet it out, tell everybody, and don't miss it. Be sure to check out all the great content from the NFL team sites, the club's social channels around the schedule release. Tune into NFL Network as well as ESPN. So much full coverage of the thrilling 2025 matchups. May 14th just around the corner, too.
I know. It's basically here at this point. Guys, get ready and buckle up for the greatest season of your lives.
That is
All right, let's call a spade here. You and I had the same reaction. Take out the phone, start putting it into the calendar.
I'm busy on the 14th.
That's officially a work day.
draft's over for me. I'm done.
Work hard enough going through all the evaluation. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears on the clock right now, still awaiting to figure out who the official pick is going to be. You can see inside that draft room, we do have. They sit at number 10, and here's the pick.
Yesterday, the NFL family lost a true legend, Bears Hall of Famer Steve McMichael. My heart is with the McMichael family during this incredibly difficult time. Misty, please know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. Mongo's remarkable contributions to the game and the community will never be forgotten. His legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. 50 years ago, with the 4th pick in the 1975 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears selected one of Steve McMichael's teammates and closest friends, Walter Payton, running back. Walter would go on to rush for nearly 17,000 yards and 110 touchdowns over 13 seasons, all with the Chicago Bears. Not only for his performance and excellence on the field, commitment to give back to his community with the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. So with the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL the Chicago Bears select
one of the explosive players of the draft. First time the Bears have taken a first-round tight end since Greg Olsen back in 2007.
Go blue. So Colston Loveland goes ahead of Tyler Warren. There's a lot of people that are going to be shocked by that. But if you really dig into the tape, it comes down to fit and what you like. Remember, Ben Johnson comes from Detroit where they had Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta was a little different coming out of Iowa because he was a pass-catching, playmaking tight end. This guy can do it all. I have him categorized as a flex tight end, meaning he is a jumbo wide receiver. He can line up in the slot, he can go out wide, he can do all those things. But he still has that Michigan toughness that enables him to eventually maybe be a wide tight end. Great pass catcher. And as we're building this offense to elevate Caleb Williams, you have a dominant player over the middle of the field that should really work for the rest of the team.
Look, as a pass catcher, I mean, he's above Tyler Warren. I think where Tyler Warren has him, and just barely, is the blocking. But he's a lot like Tyler. He's a lot like Tyler Eifert. Very similar body types, very similar release into the routes. Same type of ability to separate. You see him right here. Look at this ability to separate, and that's what stands out about Colston Loveland when you watch him. It's the fast routes. He's able to uncover underneath, which is kind of rare for tight ends. But he's got that wiggle that is, allows him to uncover on all three levels. He's got good speed, good shiftiness underneath, and I think he tries as a blocker. He's getting better. Very few tight ends come into the league ready to block.
All right, so Chicago Bears getting tight end Colston Loveland, and which, by the way, a lot of you guys, in case you missed it this week, of course, the sadness of the tragedy of the passing of former Chicago Bears lineman Steve McMichael, who passed away due to his long battle of ALS. And of course, he passed away yesterday at the age of 67. Of course, his teammate was teammates with Walter Payton, who 50 years ago this month was back in 1975. He was drafted by the Bears from Jackson State University. So the 49ers are coming up on deck. See what the 49ers are going to get. Niners, of course, coming off missing the shutout of the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. Of course, rolling from that heartbreaking loss to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, a little more than 24 months. We're going to take this time out. When we come back, the Niners will be picking coming up next. Next, you're watching a Niners Radio 49 exclusive, the 2025 NFL Draft, live here at the Satellite Digital Media Studios in San Francisco on Niners Radio 49. All right, we are continuing on Niners Radio 49 draft. The Niners have made their pick. We apologize for the technical difficulties we have on our set. So the 49ers have selected so we're You're watching Niners Radio 49's special, the Niners 2025 NFL Draft on Niners Radio 49. We are right now experiencing some technical difficulties, so please stand by. We will get back to you in a few moments. Thank you. I'd like to apologize for the inconvenience. We experienced some technical difficulties. We're back on the air. The Miami Dolphins going to be selecting next, as the Miami Dolphins probably be looking for a quarterback. As taking a look as we get on our monitor. Some news that they have signed quarterback Zach Wilson to a one-year, $6 million contract this offseason. 35 sacks, 16 takeaways, both bottom six in all of football. Commissioner Godell is going to go back out on the mic right now. Let's see what's going to be the Dolphins' pick.
This is another one of these teams that is inside their building told me if he plays at the highest level he's possible of playing, he will be the best defensive tackle to come out of this draft. And that includes, his teammate, obviously, Mason Graham, who we know is just a rock-steady player. Kenneth Grant is big. He is powerful. And one of the coaches at Michigan said, Lance, he just doesn't know how big and strong he is yet. It's like the Baby Huey cartoon back in the day, Bucky, where once he figures out that he's so much bigger and stronger than the guy across from him at times, he's going to become a problem.
If you're the Miami Dolphins, you're hoping that he can become maybe a Dexter Lawrence type at the point of attack.
That's a good
Anthony
call.
Weaver, defensive coordinator, is there. Former D lineman who understands what he potentially could have in Grant. And when you think about that division, remember, the division is about Buffalo, and Buffalo has been able to really terrorize them by being able to run up the middle with Josh Allen and James Cook. Now you have a guy that is stout and sturdy at the point of attack. Look at Big Man run. Big Man trying to get out there with those high knees, trying to take it back on the scoop and score. Oh, little stiff arm. How about Big Grant? I mean, if I had known that, I'd moved him up a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, I got to tell you, I think that probably the Chargers aren't super excited that Kenneth Grant went this early because two Michigan guys are off the board, or three Michigan guys are off the board. What am I going to do with my mock?
All right, so the 49ers pick up Mykel Williams. We just had some technical difficulties, so we are just trying to catch on board. The Miami Dolphins already had their selection. I think the Indianapolis Colts did just theirs. As we're going to take a look at Mykel Williams. So Mykel Williams, the 11th overall pick for the NFL draft. Williams played 3 seasons for the Bulldogs, a key contributor to one of college football's top defenses. He earned freshman All-American and SEC All-American honors in 22. Was named second team to the SEC both in 23 and 24. Over his career, he totaled 67 tackles, 21 and a half sacks, and 21 and a half tackles and 14 sacks. At the NFL Combine, Williams showed why he's considered one of the top edge rushers in this year's draft. Standing at 6'5", 260 pounds, he impressed scouts with his explosive first step, quick of change of direction, and powerful finish. His athleticism, production make him the strong addition to the 49ers pass rush for defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. If you can take a look, if you want more of the 2025 NFL draft coverage, go to 49ers.com/draft. So the Niners' next pick will be in the second round in the draft. Round 2 will be tomorrow. So Niners getting their guy, Mykel Williams. From Georgia University of Georgia, I should say. And then we got, we were going to continue on. All right, so we're here back here live on Niners Radio 49, the 2020, and the next on the draft board. So we'll take this break and we'll be right back in a few. You're watching Niners, the 2025 NFL Draft on Niners Radio 49. All right, we continue on Niners Radio 49. We'll see what the Bijan Robinson was selected by the Indianapolis Colts and get some more on his profile.
Stuff in high school, but now Little League World Series hero. How about that?
That going yard. Straightaway center showing a little pop.
I mean, he looks.
Falcons getting ready to select 15th. They missed the playoffs in each of the last 7 years. They have missed the playoffs each of the last 7 years, and especially things have really fallen on hard times. Michael Penix Jr. started 3 games as a rookie in 24. He was 1-2 in his 3 starts with the Falcons. They were 4-2 versus the NFC South in their division, but outside their division, they're 4-7 outside the division. 369, 8.8 total yards per game, 6th in the NFL. 31 sacks in 24th, was next to last in the league. Wide receiver Drake Dalton, and they have just selected Jalen Walker. He was Dick Butkus Award winner. Running back Bijan Robinson, 1,456 yards. 5 different players with at least 700 or more yards from scrimmage in 24 tied them with the Lions for the most in the NFL. They went 8-9 last year in 24, finished second in the NFC South. Offense ranked 13th, defense 23rd. Missed the playoffs each of the last 7 seasons. They tied for the longest drought with their division rival Carolina Panthers in the NFC. Kirk Cousins entered the second of his 4-year contract. The Falcons really have fallen on hard times in recent years since that devastating, heartbreaking loss in Super Bowl 53, or I should say in Super Bowl 51, where they blew that 28-3 lead against the Patriots, losing the heartbreaker in overtime. And they did go back to the playoffs in 2017, only to lose. They won a playoff game, but lose to the eventual Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles in the divisional playoff. And things just went south for them right after that. Video feed courtesy of the NFL Draft Center. Looking at some of the Falcons' losses, so picking up that video feed. And see what the Falcons are going to get.
With the 15th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Walker, defensive end, Georgia.
All right, you forecasted it, looked into the crystal ball. Lance Erline, you said Jalen Walker is going to be the selection. Bucky, you said it to me. Hey, it doesn't matter that he played at Georgia. Can he play? Reality is,
off the edge. And I think that, he's still got to get better playing line and bring him off the edge. And I think that, he's still got to get better playing linebacker. He still has to, as a true off-ball linebacker. But that may not be in the cards for him with the Atlanta Falcons. They may just say, we want you to go rush. Mostly we want you to get the quarterback. He gave Kelvin Banks a lot of problems when they went up against Texas because you just don't have guys that explosive and quick very often off the edge. He's only, 240 some odd pounds right there. So he's longer arms than you expected, about 33 inches. I thought this just made perfect sense for the Falcons, and they've got to be happy he lasted this long.
They have to be happy. I think the stat that is running right there, PFF.
All right, so the Arizona Cardinals. All right, so we're back here at our studios here in San Francisco. Professor B on Niners Radio 49. We're about to, I believe they're about to have the 49er press conference to recap for day one with head coach Kyle Shanahan and Niners general manager John Lynch as they recap the draft for day one. As we are going to listen to that press conference in a few moments. We're going to the video stream courtesy from 49ers.com. So we don't fool around. We're going to give you every exclusive coverage of the 49ers as we're on live right now. We're just going to So we're going to take this quick time out. We'll be right back.
small school standout, dominated when he had an opportunity at the Senior Bowl. Very impressive during his time. He's going to have a chance to start somewhere on that offensive line.
He, you know, I mentioned this in Path to the Draft, Bucky. He was one of those guys that I was lower on getting out of tape, and then I get to the Senior Bowl. And this is what you do in the process. You know, sometimes you're too low on a guy, you're too high on a guy. You get where it's good on good here at the Senior Bowl, and he was not out of place at all. At FCS, tackle, guard, center prospect. He'll be a center or guard. He'll be a guard for Seattle. They have a desperate need for a guard right now, but can play center. Might be able to get you out of a game at tackle if it's an emergency. But what he really showed, that was Josh Farmer he was doing a number on just a while ago. That's a guy who's going to, from Toledo, who is Alexander, who's going to go in the second round, the defensive tackle. And Gray Zabel had great reps against all these guys. I don't remember a bad rep at the Senior Bowl in one-on-ones. That's how good he was.
You know, I actually had an opportunity just getting ready. Buck, you and I were together for the East West Shrine Bowl, and Tim Polasek, I had an opportunity to talk to him about his quarterback, but Zabel's name just kind of popped up. You talk about an offensive line guy who really takes a lot of pride in coaching those dudes up. So certainly not a huge shocker that we are talking about Zabel as a first-round selection with the Seattle Seahawks. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are on.
So the Seahawks picking up their guy, getting some offensive line help. So we're going to take this time out, and when we come back, we'll continue on the 2025 NFL Draft on Niners Radio 49. All right, we'll continue here on Niners Radio 49 special. Professor B here at the Niners, here at in San Francisco, and our main headquarters, home of your five-time Super Bowl champions. Glad you're joining us in as we continue on Niners Radio 49, and a lot of you guys were waiting for what's going to happen with Kyle Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, and John Lynch. They'll have their presser coming up in a little bit. They'll break down day one, and it's presented from NetApp, and they're on 49ers.com and then on Facebook as well. And while we're waiting for them to wrap up the draft, it may be a little more than a minute. We're going to just a reminder that the 2025 NFL schedule will be coming out in about on the 14th. Will be coming up on the May 14th. Will be the date when the schedule will be coming out, and the 49ers when the NFL release their schedule date, and I'm going to be on double assignment that day. So it's going to be a busy day for me for yours truly. As the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have selected wide receiver. His name is Emeka Ibuka, wide receiver from the Ohio State University. And we'd also like to shout out to the NFL Network and also the NFL Draft Center from getting their audio and video feed. So, taking a look at some of their, taking a look at some of the video. What's here more about Mika Ibuka?
Yeah, it is interesting though because Chris Godwin, you're not getting rid of that contract. It's, he's going to be there for this year and the next year as well.
So, back here on Niners Radio 49, so now the Denver Broncos getting ready to pick. Of course, the Broncos, of course, back in the postseason. Patrick Surtain last year was named the AP NFL Defensive Player of the Year. What a turnaround for the Denver Broncos. They had came in last year, had missed the playoffs each of the previous 7. It was 16 or they had missed the playoffs in the previous 8 straight seasons from 2016 through 23. They were back in the playoffs for the first time since winning it all. Since winning Super Bowl 50 down in here in the Bay Area in Santa Clara back nearly a decade ago. In fact, the Broncos going to pick right now.
One of those wishes will be coming true right now. Sam is a 17-year-old Broncos fan who has bravely battled cancer. There you go, Sam. Raise that fist up, baby. His wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team. Please join me in cheering on Sam as his wish comes true. Take it away, Sam.
Yeah, let's go Broncos. Thank you. All right, with the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jahdae Barron, DB, Texas.
You think you know, and you know nothing.
Think you know, but you have no idea.
The NFL Draft making us look silly once again. We thought it was going to be running back. Instead, they go a corner, which, by the way, was a need.
It's definitely a need, and it's a really deep running back draft, too. So keep that in mind, and that could be one of the thoughts that go here. Jahdae Barron has tremendous range. He sees the ball extremely well, and we're seeing that in these highlights. He's got the ability to play outside, to play in the slot, which is the nickel, which is something they need, and he can even play safety. So he's got 3-position versatility. He showed tremendous toughness in terms of coming up and tackling, not only supporting the run, but coming up and finishing wide receivers after the catch. And the other thing I love about Jahdae Barron is that he's got really good, the old click and close, the old plant and drive. And you see all the ball skills. Look, 8 interceptions, 24 pass breakups for his career. Buck, you got to have instincts, but you got to have a little burst to get to the catch point.
Now, this is all about Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator, who is a great DB coach. This is about him looking at his unit and saying, look, I got a defensive player of the year on one side and Pat Surtain. I need somebody who can handle the heat on the other side, because they're not going to keep throwing on Pat Surtain's side. So the other guy must be able to stand up and weather the storm. Jahdae Barron has the right temperament, the right technique, the right attitude to be able to do that, and the versatility. Being able to play in the slot, maybe as some safety. He addresses a lot of needs in the back end because he is so versatile. And, like I think we interviewed him on Path to the Draft, high IQ player. Man, you like him, smart, tough, and tenacious.
I'm looking through here the rest of this first round. Hampton, I don't know if gets selected as a first-round running back now.
You see number 22.
You say 22.
You see number 26.
I'm saying 22. I'm saying 27.
Okay.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. I say
double down.
26.
Okay.
The Rams.
All right, we still got some time there.
Well, Kyron Williams is throwing the phone at you right now.
I'm not.
He's looking at a draft somewhere. What are you talking about?
So the Broncos improving a team. So the Broncos making some moves. T- Turnaround year for the Broncos, returning to postseason play for the first time in 9 years and nearly a decade after an 8-year hiatus. The Pittsburgh Steelers is next on the draft. Broncos back in the postseason, their first postseason appearance since winning it all in Super Bowl 50 nearly a decade ago over at the Mecca at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are on deck, on the on deck circle. The Pittsburgh Steelers, great tradition, six-time Super Bowl champion, or seven-time Super Bowl champion, was as Roger Goodell is going back on the podium, and this is the Steelers.
Did you have this?
Tuned in and everyone is watching.
No, you're right. You're
Derek
right.
Harmon,
Thank you.
transfer from Michigan State, came over. Look, disruptive player at the point of attack. And we talk about the brand of the Pittsburgh Steelers, rough and rugged. Well, if it ain't rough and rugged, it ain't him. This dude gets after it at Oregon. He comes down. He loves it. I love
Right, so you're watching special edition of Niners Radio 2025 draft. We continue on Niners Radio 49. We've been on since over the last 2.5 hours. Professor B, we are. Don't forget to click on us on youtube.com/ at Niners Radio 49. Our mission is trying to get 1,000 subscribers. So we're just still waiting to see if they're going to. At though from hadn't heard nothing yet from Lynch and Shanahan, so we'll go continue on from the draft center as Chargers have made their selection. Or Marion Hampton from North Carolina at running back. Let's hear from more about him. So the Green Bay Packers are now on the clock, or on deck to draft. All right, so Green Bay Packers are on the on deck circle to draft. We're trying to get the. There was some stuff going on, issues with the video with. We're looking forward to get Kyle Shanahan and to come on for the get some word from Santa Clara. Unfortunately, we're not going to be. It's not going to happen at this time. So we'll see who's gonna be on deck. Get ready for the next player to be drafted. So we'll just continue on NFL Draft Live. Matt LaFleur, of course, 67-33. They are just 8-11 in playoffs since winning the Super Bowl back a little more than a decade ago. Looking at on our monitor, so let's see what the Packers are going to do now. They're getting ready to draft. Well, they're not ready yet. Cause they should be getting ready to draft any minute right now. Okay, so Niners will be just so we are just continue. The Green Bay Packers going to draft next, and we're still trying to wait and see. And a reminder coming up on May 14th. That exactly. So we just have to find, all right. We are continuing. We're gonna we just hadn't been able to get the video up for we do want to when we have a chance, we're gonna just try to see if we can 2025 NFL Draft on Niners Radio 49. We're gonna it'll be both Christian McCaffrey and Fred Warner talk about the Niners offseason and the upcoming draft. And you're about to watch that, which begins in just a moment.
Been great. Yeah, everything's been really smooth and pumped to be back here.
And congratulations on all the things.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Super excited.
Christian, can you just take us through how are you feeling and just how has the recovery been, not only from, what bothered you early in the year, but also late in the year?
I'm feeling great. Yeah, I mean, it's been such a smooth process, a lot of hard work. As soon as that injury happened in Buffalo, I was that was my goal, was to not miss a day of OTAs, be back ready to go with nothing hindering me, and that's where I'm at.
About when did your knee feel normal?
It went by pretty quickly. I don't remember the exact date, but I got to a point pretty early in the offseason where I was training full speed, ready to go.
Christian, this business is so, teams change every year, but it seems like this offseason was pretty extreme in the amount of guys you lost. What was it like sitting back watching all that?
It happens every year. I think it's always tough watching guys that you love and respect go on to other teams, but at the same time, that's the business of this league, and I think everybody in our locker room is pretty familiar with it. So you just onward, continue to grow as a team, grow as a unit, and bring in the new guys that we get in and have them, try to get up to speed as quick as possible.
Christian, curious to know how the vibe is with you guys, being that you guys have now kind of come together today. GM John Lynch saying that everybody pretty much was here today. How good does it feel to have everybody kind of show up, or most of everybody show up here today?
Feels great. It's such a good turnout. It was great energy on the field, in the weight room, and meetings. So hopefully we can continue that. But definitely exciting, and get those first day, a lot of first day juice. So that was a lot of fun.
A lot of the focus this offseason, at least for us, is on Brock Purdy and his contract. He's here. What's the vibe around him? What have you guys said to Brock, and just how is he approaching everything?
No different. That's business is business, and that stuff we don't even talk about. We just continue going on as if, he'll be our quarterback. And so for us, it's just about training, getting better as a team, gelling as a unit, and just continuing to grow.
What does it say about him as a leader in command?
Says a lot about him. Yeah, no, it's definitely good to see him here and working as hard as he is.
What was your take on Isaac Rando's rookie season and just the evolution that he took last year?
I thought it was great. I thought, to watch how he grew throughout the season, a lot of times as a back, just getting the reps is so valuable. But, to see him in the meeting room and how he approaches the game, how hard he works and how good he wants to be, he's definitely somebody that pushes the pace in the room, and I'm excited for him this year.
Can you tell that he's got a background as a receiver, just how he, does the routes and practices there?
Well, I think he has such a great skill set, such a versatile skill set, and that's something that Bobby T's always harping, is be a complete back, and so it's a great room for him to be in.
When Isaac was drafted, he told us he was going to drive you crazy with questions. Has he done that? Has he utilized these resources?
Yeah, he definitely has. I think for me, though, it's a lot of times my answer is I'm getting coached, by the same guy you're getting coached by. And I learned just as much from Coach T in these meetings as they will. And they're being thrown so much information. And so sometimes more information as a back isn't always good. And so, but I definitely give my 2 cents where I feel like it might be needed. But at the same time, it doesn't matter what year you're in as a running back, you learn from these guys too. They're coming off of college and the game evolves and does different things, so you can learn a lot from them too.
Your single-mindedness in terms of your preparation and how you want to play is so well known. I'm curious whether these huge life events that you've had you got married last year, now you got another one coming up. What does that change your perspective at all, or how do you fit that in?
Huge life events, obviously there's some big ones that have happened in my life, but those happen every year. It's just sometimes it's what people know about and what they don't, and I think that's, whether they're good or bad, I've had a lot happen in my career. And so it's the part of it where you have to, you're a professional, you come to work every day, you work really hard. And then when you get home, you're a husband, you're a soon to be father, you're a son, you're a friend. And to be able to separate those things, I think is pretty important.
Christian, is there a different, and maybe it's too early to say, but like a different mentality? I mean, for several years, you guys have had a bullseye, like Super Bowl contender favorite. And now, because of all the guys that have left, I think a lot of people around the league probably view you guys a little differently. I mean, can you get a sense of the vibe? Is there a different mentality of we're gonna show them?
Yeah, I like that mentality that we have, and I kind of like the narrative going around because, those are the kind of stuff where you can prove them right or prove them wrong. And I think we got a committed team and a team that's ready to gel together and realize that it's going to take all of us, and that's how it should be showing up, and so I'm excited about that.
Was there more mentally and emotionally refreshed this offseason as opposed to since last year went so late and the Super Bowl loss, and now it's a different approach?
Yeah. Yes.
Couple more. Do you feel that way personally? Like you come off an injury, and people say, as you get older as a running back, does that get into your mind that you're like, okay, I'll prove them again?
Really for me, it's about just proving myself right. I've been here before. I've been counted out a lot of times in my life, and so it's when I start to focus on just outside voices, I lose control of my own life. And so I know what to do. I know what it takes. I know how I'm supposed to feel in order to be, the best me I can be. And just happy I feel like that right now.
What excites you or makes you more nervous about being an expecting father?
I don't know. I mean, I've asked so many different people different questions, and I think everybody has their own experience. So I'm trying to prepare as much as I can, but then just go along for the ride. I'm lucky my wife's been a trooper all off season. She's been making it look easy, and I know it's not. So, but I couldn't be more excited.
Christian, just to clarify, I think you implied this, but just to be sure, your expectation is that when you guys do on-field 11-on-11 stuff, you have no restrictions?
Correct. Yeah, I have no restrictions right now.
How's the offseason been for you?
Off-season's been great. A little too long for my liking, but, it's been good. Just trying to get better every day, spending a lot of time with my family. A lot's happened, obviously, with the team, but just looking forward to having everybody back and building this thing up from ground zero. We got a long road ahead of us.
How challenging is it? I know you weren't really excited to see one of your closer teammates go. How challenging was it seeing, the off-season free agency?
Yeah, no, I think every year it's really tough because, even though you get into a season and the team might seem like, this is the same team as always. Every year you have guys who leave, and it is a new team every year. But obviously this year we did lose some guys, especially Dre, like you mentioned. That was a tough one for me. But I mean, I'm so excited for him and his new journey over in Denver, and everything that he's going to do there. I think he's just getting started, right? And so that leaves spots available for other guys to come in and compete for those jobs, right? And that's just the NFL. That's how it goes. So I'm excited all the way around.
Did Saleh have a address for the defensive players only today?
Yeah, no, it was he addressed the room, of course, just kind of letting everybody know, how excited he is to be back in the red and gold with the good guys again. And it's crazy that he only knows about 3 or 4 guys back from when he was here last time. It's a whole new group. And so all of us, man, we're all here trying to just get to know everyone again, build that camaraderie and just build from the ground up. It's a whole new team, whole new group, regardless of, some of the familiar faces. So it was good to get that all gas, no brakes, all gas, no break at the very end. So it was good.
Some pictures of you meeting with draft visitors on social media and stuff like that. Do you pay attention to that? I mean, your rapport with Trey was so close and so productive that do you give them input on linebackers, somebody that might be playing next to you for the next 5 years?
Give who input? The team?
Yeah, I mean, do they ask for your takes on guys or anything like that?
No, they don't ask me for anything. They say, Fred, you better show up ready to go. That's my job. But no, I mean, yeah, I'm so far removed from the college game. It's hard for me to keep up with a lot of these young guys that are coming in. It is cool to meet these guys, and it brings me right back to that moment when I was coming here on my 30 visit, and kind of try to chat them up a little bit about the process. And I'm like, listen, like it's long, it's monotonous, all this traveling and everything, but just, it only happens once, so try to enjoy it. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Thursday is going to be a big day, the start of the draft, and bringing that new crop of guys in to join our team and start building this thing up.
Today, John said, can you tell if a guy's a dog? Like you're talking to him, and you're trying to evaluate the mental side of it. Can you tell?
It's hard for me to tell, right? I'm only talking to these guys for a couple seconds, right? Enough for them to ask me for a picture or something. So I have no idea, but I've always said that I do not envy that job that John, Kyle, and all these scouts and all them that they have. I mean, it's so hard to really analyze these rookies, these guys that are coming out of college, especially now, guys that played for 2 or 3 different teams and all this money involved and all these other things. So obviously they are pros at what they do, but it's hard to kind of know what a guy's really about until he's here, right? And what and with the team and see what they're really about.
Today, John said that it's very apparent that Saleh has grown schematically as a coach in the time that he was away. Have you had a chance to sit down with him yet and talk defense, and have you observed really the same thing over the years?
Yeah, no, we sat down and talked early on after he got here and kind of talked a little bit about how things have progressed on both sides. Him over with the Jets and us here, and we didn't talk too much about X's and O's, just kind of more so just kind of catching up. But I mean, I've always believed that Saul is one of the best in the game, if not the best. In terms of just coaching defense and knowing scheme and talking ball, just what I'm saying, just like understanding the game. So he understands that you can't just continue to run the same thing and expect different results. Like you got to evolve, obviously, right? And so, he mentioned that today, just in terms of just evolving as a group and as a scheme and different things that we're running, and ultimately just being the best version of ourselves when the time comes.
Fred, you mentioned that the offseason's been longer than you would like, but have you found positives in that in terms of, like, did you feel like your body maybe needed this, and how are you feeling in terms of the ankle?
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel great. Ankle's a thing of the past now, thank God, because, that was a tough, trying to deal with that all season, but feel great now. And yeah, there's positives to take from it, right? I just know how I would like my off season to be, in terms of just having a ring on my finger, at the end of it. So it's just all about just using the time that you have wisely. And, I'm never going to complain about having that extra time with my family. My little man now, he's running around and stuff. So it's kind of just crazy just seeing that evolution too. So, yeah, I mean, the off season's great, but I'm excited to be back and get things rolling again.
And you didn't need any procedure or anything on the ankle. That was just time.
That's right.
Christian was saying that he's been asking some guys that are dads about, questions now that it's coming. Has he come to you? Now that you're a big veteran with the...
No. We haven't had that talk yet, but we'll sit down tomorrow and we'll talk shop about fatherhood. But yeah, I'm excited for him, man. That's coming up, I think, pretty soon here for him. So I'm excited for him.
In the vein of fatherhood, or more so mentorship, knowing that you might have somewhat of a younger defense coming into this season, being that there's probably going to be a lot of the focus going into the draft tomorrow. Having Robert Saleh come in, who's also, been evolving in the game of defense, how are you feeling about that going into the season? I'm super excited about it. Playing alongside younger guys, it keeps me young. Even though, I feel like I'm still young, but of course you start getting to 8+, they start calling you the old head, they start calling you Unc and all these other crazy things. So, but it does, we do need that, right? I mean, we talk about how much we lost this offseason and guys going other places, but
We do need some youth guys who are hungry for that respect, for that just trying to earn it, and just getting that edge back to us. The competitive aspect of it, all these spots opening up, guys being able to compete for different spots. It's much needed for our team in general, so I'm excited about it.
Do you like the fact that instead of being looked at as a Super Bowl champion, now you're looked at 6-11? That got rid of all these players, and you're kind of, I don't know if neither will ever be overlooked, but people aren't expected a lot. Do you like that?
Yeah, no, listen. I never need more motivation to get up and be the best version of myself, or I think for our team as well. We never, even though we've been close to hitting the mountaintop, we've never actually surpassed it, right? And so, teams have never looked at us as a Super Bowl champ because we haven't attained that yet, and that carries heavily on myself as it does with a lot of the other guys that have been here. But yeah, it is honestly about really being, the hunter instead of just being the hunted, right, at this point. So, however we got to get it, I'm ready to do it by any means.
How important is it, whoever it is next to you at will, for it to be somebody who can fit the run with physicality and the sort of violence you talked about?
Yeah, I mean, everything's important, honestly. The run game obviously is a big part of that. I think that we lost some of that last season with just as a defense in general, and I know that'll completely get cleaned up. Having Saleh back and making sure we're clear cutting everything that what the expectation is. But you got to be able to do it all in the run game, pass game, ball production. We talk a lot about that, especially today in our linebacker room, but just about getting the ball. For not only for our defense but for our team. That's how you win games is that turnover margin. So you got to be able to do it all. It's a tough ask and a tall ask, but you got to be able to do it.
Business-wise, do you feel that you get a sense that they're going to release some funds your way by the end of the summer? And is this something you want done before week 1?
I mean, it seems like they're releasing plenty of funds as it is already. Like I'm not. I get paid plenty already. But listen, that whole part of it, I know they, on my agent and the team and all that, that'll all handle itself out. I'm just obviously ready to just go to work and be the best version of myself. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Oh, no, that's okay, Fred. I was going to ask a contract question.
Oh, thank you.
And it would have taken way longer. So
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah.
Can I just ask real quick? You mentioned the evolution of Robert. Obviously, things don't stay the same.
Uh-huh.
So, what kind of things do you think? What can evolve? How do you think they maybe change a little bit, if at all, with a second version of Robert?
I guess time will tell. I'm still learning, just like the rest of us, of exactly what the differences are going to be. But there's just a calming presence when he's standing up there. It brings me right back to when he was here back in 19, or what was his last year, 20. His last year being 20, and so I'm so excited and confident in what he'll deliver for us.
What is most important for you as far as messaging to some of the younger guys that are going to be on this defense heading into next season, just so that everyone's on the same page?
Yeah, just being ready to go, being a pro. That's what the message has always been. I think Saleh kind of hit it on the head today when something that he mentioned early in my career that he touched on today was holding the pen to your story. Don't allow somebody else to hold the pen. And that's in everything you do, whether it's on the field, in the cafeteria, in the meeting room. Just be a pro, be the best at what you do. And it's gonna be high competition. It's gonna be chippy. It's gonna be all those things, and you just got to prepare your mind, your body, your spirit for all that. And make sure you're the best version of yourself for when it comes.
It's early, but to have most of the guys here, including Brock, what kind of tone does that set in April when you guys are still months away from training camp?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just super important to everyone, right? And Kyle kind of touched on at the end of last season how he wanted everybody back, and just for the ability for us to train together and have that sacrifice early on to build this thing the right way. And yeah, it's great to see.
All right, that was you heard from both Christian McCaffrey and Fred Warner as the 49ers hopefully try to rebound from that disappointing season from last year where they, after the loss in the Super Bowl, they come back and win only 6 games in the season. So just this is just in to get your new Mikael Williams jersey. You go to 49ers.com. Shop, or I should say shop49ers.com, and pre-order your jersey right now. And the official team store, they are temporarily closed from February 14th through June 14th. They're on a temporary hiatus. This is kind of the off season, so. But they'll find doing the construction at the 5-3 trailer at Faithful Mile. They'll open 6 days a week, Mondays through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wednesday and Sunday will be closed. And if you want to get the new Niner cap by New Era and the Mikael Williams Niners jersey or any other things, go to shop49ers.com. That's shop49ers.com. And they say the jersey, it has number 1 as their top pick. Jersey will be shipped when the number has been officially confirmed. And they have you'll get free shipping for orders at over $24. So, want to get your new Niners Mikael Williams jersey or any other or new Niners draft caps pre-order right now? You go to shop49ers.com. That's shop49ers.com. So that's going to do it for tonight on Niners Radio, a special edition of Niners Radio 49 tonight. We'd like to thank all of you for watching, live tuning in. We'd like to thank NFL Network, NFL Draft, or the NFL Network for their video feed we're watching tonight. We'll give you more updates as and we'll hopefully tomorrow when we have a chance, if time allows, tomorrow before the second round, we'll have another edition of recap the first round. We hope we can give you Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's press conference, the recap of the Niners' first day of the draft. Niners, of course, this is the first of what would be 11 picks they'll have in this year's draft. So, all the latest in the 49ers news and so much more, go to 49ers.com. And also, we also been, like I said the other day, I've been on a little bit of a temporary hiatus on Niners Radio 49 because I'm with other obligations, doing some Cal Bears baseball with the baseball season, so I'm just busy around. And then also a reminder coming up, 3 weeks, coming up in a little less than 3 weeks, that on May 14th, 2025, on a Wednesday, that will be coming up, that'll be coming up in 3 weeks' time from Wednesday. They will have the 2025 NFL schedule. That will be revealed who the Niners will play. The Niners, of course, coming off a 6-11 season, last place. They'll get the last place schedule, and they will also, of course, they'll have all their divisional opponents. They'll have all their divisional opponents. They will get the NFC South. They'll get the NFC South. Then they'll get the NFC North. Then they'll also get the AFC South as well, and we'll break it all down. Not only just for the 49ers, but who will get the primetime spot as well, who'll get the primetime Christmas, and so much more. So tune in to Niners Radio 49 through all the off season. We hopefully tomorrow, if time allows, if we're able to to get that presser from both Shanahan and Lynch. We will give it in case you miss it. We'll have it on Niners Radio 49, and we'll show you that their press conference recap of first round draft in its entirety sometime tomorrow. So that's gonna do it for now. Thank you for watching Niners Radio 49 live. Like I said, in the coming weeks, I got a lot on my plate right now. We'll be doing some Niners Radio 49 specials. We're gonna be doing some stuff in the coming weeks ahead, and we'll have some big announcement coming up sometime soon regarding. I'm also working on a project which also been keeping under wraps for a while. So we're gonna be having some fun real soon. And stay tuned to Niners Radio 49, all of our platforms. As time comes, we'll be coming up real soon. So that's it for now. Professor B getting ready to sign off for tonight. Glad you guys enjoyed us on Niners Radio 49. Once again, we apologize for the inconvenience with our technical difficulties with our streaming, and keep on cutting on and off, and we apologize for the inconvenience. But for the latest news on 49ers news and so much more, go to 49ers.com and check us out. In case you missed this draft special, go on youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. That's it for now. Professor B signing off, and I'd like to say so long. Thank you for watching this special edition of Niners Radio 49, the 2025 NFL Draft. And I'm Brian Professor B. Davis. Thank you for listening and watching. And thank you on Niners Radio 49, Niners Radio 49, association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network, where every team is a fan. Every fan is a voice. The network home of champions. Wishing all of you a very pleasant good evening. 49ers football, faithful to the Bay. Go Niners.